There is this common question that is in the mouth of average youth in this 21st century, which is, should we stop school or should we just become entrepreneurs? And the fact that entrepreneurship as a course is not really being taken serious in our tertiary institution is not really helping us as young adults graduating from school. And then there are that common questions or that consistent question of what's going to happen after school. What becomes of our lives without any handy jobs whatsoever. Today we'll be looking into this very interesting topic, entrepreneurship versus education, what part leads to personal fulfillment. Hello everybody, I'm EJ, the host for the Lifestyle Show. Thank you all very much for joining me today. And if you haven't followed the Lifestyle playlist on New World TV, please do follow, like, subscribe, keep sharing. You all are welcome once again to the show. With me in the studio are three gentlemen. One of them, which you guys are very familiar with, he was here last week, Honorable himself. So it's so good to have you here again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Right, yeah.
Please, do you mind introducing yourself again?
So as usual, I'm a Honorable Apostle Robert Ezani.
Yes, please.
And I'd just like to say I'm a father.
Yes.
And that's simple.
Thank you very much for joining us again. And then we have Mr. John. I'm sorry, please help us introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Olukifema Johnson. And yes.
What do you do?
I'm a linguist.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for
This is first time coming, actually.
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming. And then we have Mr. Emmanuel. Did I get it?
Mr. Chukwudi Jasper.
Hey, Jesus. Hey, Bube. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
What do you do, sir?
Yeah, I'm a media specialist and a musician.
Gospel or?
Yeah, gospel musician.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
nice having you here.
Thank you
So thank you all very much for coming.
Thank you for
I
having us.
am very grateful you all, regards your busy schedule, were able to make out time joining us here today. I mean, I believe this topic is going to be very impactful to us out there, because like I began with, this is a very, very important topic, because so many of us have questions regarding our lives after school. So, sir, I'm going to begin with asking you some few questions or couple of questions before we begin Proto. The first question, right? Does formal education prepare individuals for success and fulfillment?
Yeah, that should be the objective.
Okay.
Formal education, the objective, because it's based on a certain culture, bringing up. Let us start from the origin of the word.
Yes, please.
Education comes from a Latin word, which is educare, to bring out,
All right.
or educere, that's a verb, to bring forth. So that means it implies looking into someone's potential and then trying to bring out, either through teaching, through training,
Right.
through emulations and practices, instructions, questions, you bring out the best. So generally, education tends to make someone perfect.
All right.
But why it's like it's failing is if the education does not meet the immediate requirements of the society,
Right.
then it seems to be failing. So I think the curriculum today is what is making education to look as if it's a failure, because it's not really adapted to the present situations of the society. If I'll give an example,
Right, please.
I read electrical electronics engineering.
Yeah.
But I never fixed a bulb for one day. But during you are meant to, like in circuit theory, you are going to solve pages of formulas and stuff.
Right.
But in real life, those formulas doesn't
count.
reflect in any way in real life. You understand? And then when a company wants to employ you, you have to go through a process of orientation in order to adapt to the needs of the company. So I would say that education is supposed to bring out the best in a person and make the person productive, but the curriculum
Is
rightly
failing us.
applied right now is what is failing us.
So in other words, if we should go with your answer, it means that the curriculum is the reason why there is failure So students shouldn't depend fully on education for success due to the curriculum or educational curriculum that we have in our educational system. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. For example, there are new in the present society. There are new jobs coming up.
Right.
We have content creators.
Right.
We have influencers. We have bloggers.
Right.
We have a lot of them. So the educational system, does it prepare anyone for that?
Interesting. Thank you very much, sir. And then second question before I let you go, right? How do you think the educational system has evolved over the years, and what changes have you witnessed?
All right. I think really, if I should use the word evolved, okay, that's okay. But I think evolving is not the right word. But change, do we say changes? Because technology has come into education.
Right.
And what used to be a basic standard of being educated does not really apply now, because in those days, the ability to read, write, and speak, you are considered educated and have some certificates.
Right.
But today, the world is going paperless. A student in the Western world, a student can start from kindergarten or nursery and go to university without writing for one day.
Interesting.
Without writing for one day. So, and now we have digital classrooms and stuff. So, education has been made easier due to the advancement in technology.
Okay.
But in real curriculum, I don't think, like today we have better equipped classrooms, but in real curriculum of schools, it does not adapt to the requirements of the present generation.
Thank you so very much. I'm really, really grateful for that. So we will now talk to Mr. John, the linguist. I have an important question for you, right? And guys, there's a reason why I'm asking this question, because he's a linguist, right? So I want to know really if, as a language personnel, right, it can probably help you or help us out there, okay, become successful. So let's ask him a question. So how does language acquisition and literacy impact an individual's ability to pursue their personal pursue their personal fulfillment?
Okay, thank you for the question.
All right.
I would say yes, being able to speak well a language or many languages can promote how fast you can get jobs.
Okay,
it does contribute, because when you get jobs, you get better fulfilled as an individual. You have all the money and stuff.
right.
Let's take, for instance, in a country like Togo, as Nigerians, if you are not able to communicate in the French language, it's going to limit what jobs you can do.
Right.
That's why you see someone says there are no jobs. The question is, how developed are you? What sort of skills do you have? Imagine someone who studied, maybe Daddy talks about being an electrical engineer. Imagine
Right.
someone studied electrical engineering in Nigeria, and the person speaks French. Coming here to Togo, I don't think a person like that can be jobless, because you are proficient in two languages. You could explore. If maybe you are in Nigeria, you're not able to find jobs
Right.
in Nigeria, you could try elsewhere where maybe the second language you speak is spoken, and you go there, you get jobs. So I feel being able to your proficiency in language can promote how well you are developed as a person.
Okay, so in other words, if we get him correctly, as an international student, okay, if you are an international student, that's basically a student in a foreign country, right? It's more to an advantage when you speak their language, right?
Yes.
Or when you speak the language of the country you're in.
Yes.
Okay, now, so basically also what you're saying is it's a very important as a student
Yes.
to learn more than one language.
Exactly. Not just a student, anybody who aims to work. Because when you are only proficient in one language, you're limiting yourself.
Right.
And that's why we have issues of unemployment, because you are just looking in the situation or in the country where we are.
Right.
I have a friend who, when he was in Africa, he was already speaking Korean language. He didn't know he would one day travel to South Korea.
Okay.
On getting to South Korea, I think he studied English here in Africa. On getting to South Korea, because he was proficient in the Korean language, it was easier for him to get a job as a teacher, as an English language teacher in Korea.
That's good.
Do you see? So that was only possible because already you could communicate, so it was easier to meet people, tell them, okay, this is what I can do. And when you speak to a man in his language, you speak to his heart. If there are opportunities he has, he could connect you, be like, oh, this one speaks this language, I think he knows how to do this, he knows how to do that, and then he brings you on board. But if you are not able to speak that language, how would the person even know?
So such opportunity passes.
Yes,
And even if I should comment, the ability to speak more than a language already creates a job for you.
Exactly.
Because you become a translator.
Exactly.
In churches, in many places, you are needed. So the ability to speak well in two languages is already gives you an edge to even be self-employed.
But the question is, do our tertiary institutions, particularly in Nigeria, for instance, because let's go home. So do they teach, it is just particular institution, probably language institutions that will tell you, we teach this this language, that language, and this language. In some tertiary institutions, they barely teach language. All courses are being taught in English. Except maybe a few lecturers that will tell you, I teach French. Right? So our tertiary institutions in Nigeria, do they even do they promote this speaking of?
Can I answer?
Yes, please.
I think you said Nigeria, right?
Yes.
In Nigeria we have the system where French as a foreign language is taught in secondary schools. I hope I'm not mistaken. The few people I've asked, it's taught. But the issue is usually with the students, their attitude towards learning the French language. So
it is not being mandated. English in currently in Togo, in Togo, is mandated. Okay, I heard of it. Yes, it's mandated because Togo joined Commonwealth. So they make it mandatory for students to actually learn English. Now, but in Nigeria, it is not mandated for students to actually learn French.
I think that is not particularly true because what are they called?
I stand corrected. I'm sorry.
Okay, yes, the language promoting. What do you call that? Language planners in Nigeria, especially linguists, to work with the education sector. They are putting these things in place because they know Nigerians are finding it difficult when they go outside the country. But the problem still remains with the Nigerians themselves. What is their attitude towards learning language, like foreign language? I have heard of situations where French lecturers come to class and the students are leaving. You see, so how do you expect to learn the language when you're leaving class when the lesson has been taught? So I think it's more of a problem with the people. They need to be sensitized. Exactly. They have to be told the importance of learning foreign languages because you're complaining, okay, there are no jobs. Have you tried elsewhere? Do you see? So yes.
All right, thank you very much. So guys, that's Mr. John. Like I said, he's a linguist. Thank you very much for the question and for answering. And then I'm coming to Mr. Jasper. I'm so sorry I mistook your name.
It's well, it's fine.
I'm really, really sorry about that. So I have a question for you. Now, first of all, he's a media personnel and is also a musician. So then we are going more into the entrepreneurship world. All right. So let's see how he's able to impact the society, or how, as a musician, or his career, basically, is able to impact our lives. So I have a question for you, Mr. Jasper. How does communication play a role in shaping public perception of education and entrepreneurship?
Thank you very much for the question.
You're welcome.
First of all, thank you for having me on your show.
It's my pleasure.
Communication and media, for instance, have played a huge role. Okay. Just like what we are saying. Yeah. When a child does not know the importance of education or entrepreneurship, when they find opportunities that will improve them, they scare themselves away from it. Just like the linguist told us right now. Right. Because they are not properly communicated to about the importance, the value of education, the value of entrepreneurship, they do not even know. I can still remember vividly when I was in secondary school, that's 12 years ago. It was difficult for me to accept to learn French. It was a compulsory course at that time in Nigeria. It was difficult because we did not even know the importance. That is not in place. So communication, for instance, can play a huge role. Like the show we have right now, this lifestyle show, is one of this type of communication that can help the audience, help children, help young adults to understand the value of education. We can have different programs on TV, for
including
instance,
music.
There are many elements that we can bring up to make sure we communicate the value of education and entrepreneurship to the public. We can do that through the news. We can do that through having live shows like this. We can do that through having inviting people to tell their success stories. People that have gone ahead of the people that are aspiring to go somewhere. So when they are hearing from people who have reached where they want to go to, it inspires them, it transforms them, it motivates them to say, okay, if someone like this has reached this level in their life, then I too can. So we can have such events or such programs that can help them. Now we're in the world of social media. That is also a very good platform for communication to help people. Now information has come to your doorpost. It was not before. It was difficult before to get informed. But right now, social media has made things easy. And it's almost like saying that it can only take someone who doesn't even want to be on this earth not to get informed, because social media is so close to everybody. And so social media can help. We can introduce programs, even the contents our father talked about, the content creators. It's also a means of teaching people. There are people that talk to people on health issues, on education issues, on entrepreneurship, how to make money and all stuff on social media. And that is a form of information. That's what communication will do. And that's the role it will play.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yes.
You do know we are in the 21st century, right?
Of course.
So the average student, or I don't know, I'm using the word student because they are basically the one ruling the world. So the average the young or the youth, when they go into social medias today, they are not listening to what you're saying. We are watching your clothes, or we are watching the chains, or the way you're looking cute. So your communication, in fact, does not make sense to so many of us, and this is me being realistic. You talk about TikTok. Do you know the reason so many of us go to TikTok? It's to find views. We go there to find views, probably find a job. For some of us that are us, do some stupid things there. So to you're probably do you think with the 21st century kind of youth, this communication, as you speak in quote, is possible? You will talk from now till tomorrow, won't listen. You teach in class, it's hard for it to get stuck in, let alone you communicating through some media. So how do you think that is then possible to pass such information?
Well, in the first place, it's an issue of personal interest.
Because I'm sorry, before you continue, you are a media personnel, also a musician, right? Our parents today, I hope you know, they don't approve so many of us being musicians. I remembered me telling my dad I wanted to be one, and he resented me for so long. So parents do not approve their kids going into the music industry because of how dirty, in quote, it is. Now, you wouldn't want to say that a parent is not informed for doing that. He or she probably have seen the world, the society as it's turning, and then decides to say, I resent you for doing this. Now, all of this as a result of communication, in quotes, that we talk about. So how do we handle all of those things?
Well, first of all, like I said, it's an issue of personal interest. Communication has to play through. We have to make it available for them. What we will make available for them, the truth is not everybody will. There's what they call the 80-20 principle. It plays in everything. Even if you put the right thing in place, there are still people that will not see it. There are still people that will not pick interest. So it's important that those things are in place first. Along the line, in my place, they use an adage. They say anytime a person wakes up, that is their morning. So it should be available, pending whenever that person's interest aligns. So it's not a question of whether they will accept or not, because there will surely be people who will accept and those who will not accept. People that will imbibe based on what they are being communicated to, what they are communicating to them, and those that will not. That is already the life where we are. But our duty as communicators is to make sure these things are available for their consumption. it should always be available, because you never know who it will change, when it will change them. You'll find out people go through this same social media. They say, after so many years, I stumbled on one video, I stumbled on a content, and it changed my life. So if it wasn't available, then that wouldn't have happened. So for me, it's focusing on making sure that it's available for public consumption at all times. Whether or not it will change somebody should be the individual, not on the part of we, the communicators.
Right, thank you very much. I'm really, really grateful for that answer. Thank you so very much. I believe it's very impactful. So I have a couple of general questions before we round up. We're almost out of time. So the question is for you again. Okay? Yes. I think I'm facing you more today because I don't know why. Yeah. So how do you think technology, I think, it's right down your alley. How do you think technology has changed the landscape of education? I think he said something about that already. Technology has changed education and entrepreneurship. And what opportunities or challenges do present?
Okay, that's good. So, really, technology has changed a lot, because in education now, the world is going paperless. So everybody wants to do you're already in the Western world. You don't need to write most of the time. Wash your hair. So it's not the ability to write now, but the ability to type, or the ability to use the technology, the computer, the technology that is available. Right. Then, it opens, like I said, the curriculum is outdated because it's not meeting up. In the US, for example, or in the Western world, before you do anything, even if to open up a barbing salon, before you become a barber, you need to get certification for that. And then the technology makes it easy, because you can get online, you do the courses, 2 months, 3 months, and then you do the examination online and get your certificate by mail. Okay,
so you talked about curriculum. How do you think that can be fixed? What is the actual problem? Because the exact booklet or handout, or I don't know, it could be books that our parents use, that same that the young ones are still using up until now. So how can we fix the curriculum?
Good, that's a very good question. The other time I was in Burkina, and I was watching Burkina Faso. I was watching a TV program advert. Then I saw school as a plumbing, school for plumbing, school for barbing, school for... These are the things that the society needs. For example, there's a woman that has a problem. She said, how do I, if I should send my kid to a school, and then after university he comes out, there's no work, why not bring my kid into the business that I'm doing? And then this woman is involved in glass works and framing. Now, can the school prepare the kid to fit into that business? It's impossible. Right. So adjusting the curriculum is to look into the needs of the society, and then make this curriculum, make the education to be able to bring out the potentials and then perfect it. That is what I mean. Like some of the things we do, why is it that even in business you're talking about?
Yes, please.
Like with the Igbos in business, they will pick a kid, we call it Igba boy.
Yes.
They will pick a boy,
right,
and then they will pick this guy maybe 12 years. And then the master stays with the boy. And then they start with a servant or a servant-master relationship.
Right.
That's where it's at. So he's teaching him to be a boss. So you see, a boss and then an employer relationship.
Yes, please.
And then the guy stays for about 7 years with the guy, doing nothing else but learning the trade. You understand? Right. At the end of the 7 years or 8 years, then the master, now looking at the boy, feels that this guy has learned the trade and can be on his own. Then he will be able to get something to be able to start for this guy. Maybe get a shop or something, and this guy will pick up and start it. So that kind of education, that curriculum was able to satisfy the need. So let them create curriculums that can satisfy the present need of the society.
I would have wanted to add something there if there's time.
Yes, please.
You see, it boils down to value and interest, because it's not a question of what could be done to the curriculum, because even after discovering what could be done, who will do it? Now, the people in the education sector have to have this value, have to accept in the first place that a lot has changed, a lot has evolved. We have to adapt. Do they understand the need? Do they understand its importance? Or are they rigid? This is the first problem.
I think if I'm to add to this thing you've said, it's not really the problem of the school.
Okay.
I think it's the problem of the parents. Forgive me to say, but I stand corrected. You do know there's this thing that says that charity begins at home.
Okay.
Our parents' perspective at this very present stage still remains the same. They kind of have this homogeneous kind of perspective where they tell you it's to go to school, get a good grade, and become successful. So you have to get a job. It's sort of like a lineage. It doesn't change. Where a child comes back home with straight D's and the mom is all over the place that the school didn't do well, forgetting to ask questions like, what can you do handy? So we are really focusing, I feel, but we are focusing on the wrong side here. I think parents have a role to play in a child's life, because you begin first training that child from home before you bring the child out for the school to train.
Okay.
So it depends on the impactation you have given, or you know that child has gotten from the family. Or I'm sorry,
you're correct, but I would go in line with what he said earlier.
Yes, please, let's almost round up. We're almost behind schedule.
It's more of what the school needs to do. When the school puts things in place, I think the parents will understand.
Adapt,
Okay.
Yes, because at the end of the day, we are looking towards the brighter future of the children,
right.
And it's the parents who even profits more from a child's success before the school. Right. So if we set things right, the children are able to get skills, and then in future they're able to get jobs, the parents will understand at the long run that this was for the good of the children.
Parents are already understanding.
Okay.
I talk as a parent because there's one of my friends now. The kid is supposed to get into the university, but he decided to take the kid and then put him into a fashion place to learn how to sew clothes before, because he knows that getting into the university, if he comes out, there will be no job. So parents are already learning, but it is the government that should really work together and then give us a code.
Ensure that
government and the schools.
So you want to say something?
Yeah, just to add to what they're saying, it's important for educators, people in the education sector, to fix this first. Whatever they let the parents know, they will adapt to.
Right.
So if they don't imbibe in it, even the parents will not even know what to accept.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've actually come to the end of this. My time is very limited, or should I say our time is limited. We can't really buttress much on this very topic. It's more like we've not touched anything.
Yeah.
That's the sincere truth. But here's the thing. There is no conclusion. But as a young adult growing, it is very important for you to learn skill, because you need to have an understanding of either a trade. You need to learn how to sew clothes, do hair, do wig, just do something with your hand. Whatever it is you can do that at least is handy, because the society we are today almost will not give you a job even though you have a certificate. So please, this is more like a warning. I want to say it's possible as an entrepreneur. It is possible also as a student. So we are not ruling out school, because this is where you get it from. Okay, so our government institutions, government should at least help us introduce more of entrepreneurship courses. We've been doing theory all our lives. Can we please do practical? It will really help, and it will reduce lots of people in the labor market. Thank you all very much for watching. Thank you, sir, for coming. Thank you so very much for coming today. We are really grateful you all were able to make it. Until we come your way next week, stay blessed, stay safe. Plenty love from me to you. Bye-bye.